Rules of Origin manual, like the name sounds. It helps producers to really dig into the manual and understand what they need to comply with, the AFCFTA Rules of Origin that they need to comply with. We also have the e-tariff book. This is also just for clarity, information concerning tariff in different countries. We also have the AFCFTA NTB online mechanism. We know that non-tariff barriers are a big problem, especially when we are now beginning to phase down on tariffs. Of course, there will be all these other measures still in place that might impede trade. So the NTB online mechanism is simply an online tool that gives the economic operators the opportunity to report in real time any challenges they encounter in the process of trading. So once they register on the platform, and if they encounter a problem, they're able to report, and this, we get the signal, we get the report that someone is struggling. So we are able to then look into it, verify if it's actually an NTB, and then proceed from there in helping the trader or the two countries resolve the problem. Now, that is it with the background, because I know that every time I go into, I speak, we have this sort of interaction. Sometimes people don't have this background. Now, with implementation, I'm pleased to now share the progress with the implementation of the AFCFTA Annex 7 on SPS. So the annex falls under the Protocol on Trade in Goods. This is just to show you where it's housed. You remember I talked about the negotiations and how all the different protocols, phases in which the different protocols were endorsed. So it applies, the annex applies to SPS measures that directly or indirectly affect trade among state parties. And the objectives are three-pronged: facilitate trade, enhance cooperation and transparency in the development and implementation of SPS measures, to ensure that they don't become a problem in the process of trading. And then the last objective is to enhance technical capacity of state parties to implement and monitor SPS measures, of course, while ensuring that they rely on international standards in the elimination of barriers to trade. So just to say that it's important to note that Annex 7, the Articles 5 to 14 are the technical ones. I mean, maybe that I need to show you here. There's one that has to do with assessment of risk to determine appropriate level of SPS protection, adaptation to regional conditions, equivalence, harmonization, and all that. This presentation will be shared with you. So just to say that in talking about the progress with implementation of the annex, it will cover these broad areas, the subcommittee meetings. We have the subcommittee that coordinates implementation of the program of work on SPS. We also undertake various studies as prioritized by state parties. Of course, we have developed a work program to facilitate implementation of the annex as well. Then I'll be talking about training initiatives as well as the coordination forum, the AUSPS coordination forum that Prof. Margaret talked about earlier on. So since the Secretariat started its operation, we've so far held 4 AFCFTA subcommittee on SPS meetings. The last one was in September. September 2024. It was held in Lusaka, Zambia. It was also the first one we held physically. And before I forget, I want to, it's unfortunate that the Commissioner for Trade has gone away, but this is a platform that allows us as a country, now I'm talking as a Ugandan, we don't have any international people. This is a platform that allows us to bring a lot of issues on the table. And I want I want to underscore that it's important that Uganda really participates in this forum, and also urge that it's important also to have the right people in the committee meeting. Plant protection, Ministry of Agriculture, what are the different, food safety, and then animal health, all those areas. It's very crucial, otherwise you don't have your issues adequately captured. So we had member states in attendance, AU institutions, all the AU institutions dealing with SPS work, RECs, and also relevant international standards, relevant international organizations. They met to actually to ensure that they give guidance on the implementation. I said, because of the kind of constituencies we normally have on board, it's a platform for rich sharing and exchange of experiences on SPS work. And for the first time, Richard, this might interest you. For the first time, we adopted what we considered an international best practice, where we had the opportunity to allow state parties to, share their concerns, specific trade concerns. And we were able to really get some very useful information from Tanzania and Zambia, what they were struggling with between Malawi and Tanzania. And actually we had the opportunity to start planning on how to support Tanzania and Zambia with what they were struggling with in terms of maize exportation from Zambia into Tanzania, because they were not having any progress in, because if you recall, last year Zambia struggled with drought, so they really needed maize from the neighboring country Tanzania. But of course, there were compliance issues there. Was it a compliance issue, or was it a political issue, or a trade fight issue? So at least we had the opportunity to start helping them resolve that. During this subcommittee meeting, we also managed to organize a thematic training on the management of national notification authorities and national inquiry points. So it was really appreciated by the subcommittee, and they made recommendations to that effect. And I'm happy to share some of these recommendations, one of which was that the experience sharing on actual SPS projects implemented should be included as standing items during the subcommittee meetings. They also recommended that the Secretariat should collaborate with the African Union to integrate GRPs in its current work and upcoming work. They should also use the AU when handling specific trade concerns, just as a technical backstopping. Then that we should also expedite the development of the SPS and TBT notification portal, because we had shared the work we are doing in that regard. I think this is a repetition. Then the other recommendation was that we really need to put in place a technical team, more like a task handle plant pests and animal diseases and food safety related issues whenever they emerge in the continent. So it's also important to now inform you that the Committee on Trade in Goods that met in its 12th sitting considered the report of the subcommittee and adopted its recommendation. And we were also directed to ensure that we secure membership to relevant international standard setting bodies so that we are on top of the game when guiding state parties. So on digitalization of trade, I also wanted to say that we have been working with IPPC, World Economic Forum to, enhance adoption of e-phyto in Africa for state parties to adopt and use e-phyto solution to facilitate trade under the AFCFTA. It's work in progress. In terms of harmonization of SPS standards, we are currently working with experts to map out existing SPS measures in priority value chains, including both in crops, livestock, in selected state parties. So we want to see also where there are cases of higher levels of SPS protection, to see what is motivating all that, and so that state parties are informed. So we also want to analyze interceptions of identified priority commodities and come up with a catalog of SPS measures that would be then shared with the public, both the public and the private sector, and then give recommendations to help with harmonization of SPS measures. Then on import or export inspection and fees, we are also conducting a baseline study on all import, export, and transit procedures and inspection fees applied on agricultural commodities and agro-processed products. So we want to have a publication in place that would be then useful for state parties, and also see some of the gaps with existing import or export transit procedures and inspection fees relating to SPS. And also come up with recommendations that might be able to help in the process of trading within the AFCFTA context. Then on equivalence, we are facilitating the development of mutual recognition agreements with our sister experts working on TBT issues. Of course, as you may be aware, lack of recognition and acceptance of conformity assessment results from conformity assessment bodies have ripple effects in terms of requiring that the commodities are retested, and also increases costs of doing business for the private sector. And in the end, when exporters meet increased costs, they transfer this cost to consumers. And this we actually witnessed during the GTI processes, Guided Trade Initiative, where someone exporting their commodities from Cameroon into Ghana had to send about 20 samples, and all of these came at a cost, because you needed to pay for testing at each and every stage. So we then saw that, we didn't see from then, but this is what was already work in progress. Again, we also recognize that there are different levels of development in the national quality infrastructure. So while other countries may be advanced, others may not be. So we hope that MRAs will help to set minimum rules for all countries, so that to smoothen trade. Since state parties will be obliged to recognize and accept the results from designated conformity assessment bodies that have that therefore will mean that consumers, exporters do not need to retest their commodities. So the principle of one test, one certificate accepted everywhere. So this is what we are moving towards. Then again, I mentioned earlier that we're in the process of developing the AFCFTA, SPS, and TBT notification system as one of the AFCFTA operational tools. So we hope to have, once developed, we hope to have a robust notification system to ensure that member states meet their obligations under the Article 11 of the Annex. And then it will become an interactive system where state parties submit their SPS and TB notifications. They can also submit and retrieve SPS and TBT documents on the AFCFTA implementation. They can also use the portal to access specific trade concerns that have been addressed or that were brought between the two subcommittees. And also in terms of progress, we have drafted, already put in place, we have a draft reporting template for implementation of the annex. So we are hoping that we will submit this to the next sitting of the subcommittee on SPS for its considerations. So some of these are what we plan to do in 2025. I'm not going to go through them now. They're quite a mouthful, but just to share with you that we have a number of capacity building, work plan, participation in standard setting processes where necessary. Yeah, that is the plan for 2025. But before I conclude, I wanted to come back to the big event that happened in Uganda last week. All roads led to Uganda, where we had the AU extraordinary should be one word, extraordinary summit on the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program, CAADP. The summit was held under the theme, Sustainable and Resilient Agri-Food Systems for a Healthy and Prosperous Africa. And it was to endorse the draft Kampala Declaration, which spells out the vision for transforming Africa's agri-food systems for the next 10 years, and also to endorse the CAADP strategy and action plan, and giving the details on how to achieve the goals and target in the draft Kampala Declaration. So it was a very successful summit, as you will have all heard. But just to say that the document that brought the different presidents to Uganda has 6 strategic areas. The first one is intensifying sustainable food production, agro-industrialization, and trade. And this is where issues of SPS and food safety really fall. And that is why there was a special event held during the summit to deliberate on addressing food safety and healthy diets in food systems approach. It was a very rich side event. So the second strategic objective is boosting investment and financing for transformation. Third one is ensuring food and nutrition security. Fourth, building resilient African agri-food systems. Sixth one is to strengthen agri-food system governance, which mainly tackles issues of leadership, policy coherence. We are here talking about how the policies and the real work meet. And then advancing evidence-based decision So if you were able to listen to the speech by the president, as well as President Ruto, the president of Uganda and President Ruto, they clearly talked about the fact that we cannot talk about AFCFTA without eliminating non-tariff barriers. And they recognize the problems that we have in Africa. So when we talk about non-tariff barriers, UNBS, your work is nicely cut out for you. So I thought it was really very instructive and also really nice, very telling to hear these two presidents in referring to the AFCFTA implementation. That is the area they picked on non-tariff barriers. So I want to leave or conclude by leaving us with this perspective. I mean, for our consideration, how can we promote harmonization of standards? To what extent, not extend? Key stakeholders engage in standardization, because if all the key stakeholders are not engaged, we begin to have a disconnect in terms of how we not only trade but ensure that consumers are having the kind of commodities that they deserve. Again, what strategy can we use to make conformity assessment accessible, especially to the SMEs? How can we reduce the cost of demonstrating conformity, and how can Africa position itself in the face of a fast evolving trade landscape? We are now talking of advanced technologies, AI, and all those. There is even the discussion on green trade. So I would like to thank you for your attention. The presentation was long, but if you want to blame someone, blame Professor Margaret and Caroline. They kept saying, we also want you to talk about this. So thank you very much.
You don't like nice things, I can see. Because of time, please write your questions or comments. We will make them at an appropriate time as determined by the moderator. Yes, and Dr. Akuro mentioned the Pan-Africa payment settlement systems. If you have economic operators trading across Africa, please contact me. I will help you because my firm has been accredited as a market maker for PAPs. That's a commercial break. So, on that note, I will invite George Opio. Dr. Mwambu was deployed elsewhere by the permanent secretary, and therefore is unable to be with us, but he promised that once he's done, he will come in. So we'll have this quickly, and then I suppose after that we will have a few questions, and then we'll have the next two presentations, and then we'll also have questions after that. Thank you.
once again. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for handing over the floor to me. I was tasked to talk about the WTO, TBT, and SPS agreements and the implications of the two agreements on trade. From the introduction we had at the beginning, I think most of you are familiar with these two agreements. So I will be very brief. I consider this session as a reminder to the two agreements because most of us, I think, has been working around implementing provisions of these two agreements that is linked to what we do in our respective institutions. So I will look at the two agreements and their implications. I think I went back. So just to start with the TBT agreement, or the agreement on technical barriers to trade, we all know that it entered into force in 1995 at the beginning of the World Trade Organization, or WTO. And in terms of its scope, it covers all products. It has a very wide scope. It covers all products, including industrial and agricultural products. And when you look at the text of the agreement, you will find this in Article 1.3 of the agreement. But Article 1 also exclude the type of measures that are not covered by the TBT agreement, and these include the SPS measures because they are covered by the SPS agreement. It includes regulation on government procurement because there is a dedicated WTO agreement on government procurement, and it also excludes service-related regulation because there is another agreement, the General Agreement on Trade in Services of the WTO that covers service-related regulations. But we can also look at the scope or the coverage of the TBT agreement in terms of the type of measures that the agreement contains provisions on. And this includes technical regulations. It includes standards. Diana was talking a lot about harmonization of standards. And it also includes procedures that are used to demonstrate compliance to requirements in standards and technical regulations, which are generally called conformity assessment procedures. Diana was talking about testing. So test procedures are actually one of the examples of conformity assessment procedures. The other example includes certification procedures. So what is the aim of the TBT agreement? So the aim is to ensure that product requirements that are contained in technical regulations and standards, and for assessing compliance with requirements in standard and technical regulations, are not unjustifiably discriminatory. They do not discriminate. And then again, they should not create unnecessary obstacle to global trade. So meaning that the TBT agreement does not prevent WTO members from adopting technical regulations. It doesn't prevent WTO members from developing standards. And it doesn't also stop WTO members from putting in place framework to assess compliance to requirements in standards and technical regulations. But the standards and the technical regulation should not be too strict to create obstacle to international trade. So all WTO members have got the right to regulate industrial products, agricultural products, and also to put in trade frameworks to assess compliance of products with such regulations and standards. So it gives members rights to take measures necessary to ensure the quality of their exports, to protect human health, animal health, and plant life or health, to protect the environment, to prevent deceptive trade practices, and also to protect the national security requirements. So if you are coming from the private sector, we have private sector practitioners here. What are the benefits of the TBT agreement? When we are talking about exporting industrial products, the agreement ensures that imported products are given the same treatment as those given to like products of national origin, domestic products. And that is actually contained in one of the principles of the WTO called the National Treatment Principle. So once you are exporting a product and the product has gone through the customs of the market of the country where you are exporting, then the products should be treated in the same way domestic products are treated. If I'm to give an example, in UNBS we have an import inspection regime. Again, it's compulsory standards. So once we have cleared a consignment, say, of biscuits, it has gone through customs and it is now in Uganda, any action that we are going to take in terms of, for example, maybe market surveillance, should not discriminate between the imported biscuits and the biscuits that are domestically produced in Uganda. The other benefit is to an assured access to information on technical regulations, standard and conformity assessment procedures. And Diana was telling us that within the AFCFTA framework, they are looking forward to establishing a notification system for TBT and SPS. And all these are embedded in the transparency obligations in the TBT agreement. So we are required to make sure that we have an information unit called the National Inquiry Point, that if you want to export to another country as Uganda, you can contact the inquiry point of that country and find out what are the requirements that you need to comply with. The other benefit is that we are also required to give opportunities to stakeholders to comment and seek new justification for technical regulations, standards, and conformity assessment procedures. So even if you have not participated in the development, when the standard is being developed, the standard is put on public review and circulated widely, internally and externally, and you are given opportunity to review the draft standards and revert with comments that has to be taken into account. So that's one of the benefits. The other benefit is, in case as a private sector, you are exporting and there is a proof that the standard or the regulation that has been put in place is so stringent to achieve the various objectives of protection of human health, protection of the environment, then you can revert through government to the WTO court, the dispute settlement body. But even before you do that, the TBT committee of WTO have got also a procedure where we can go and raise specific trade concern. I think it is the international best practice Diana was talking about that has been adopted by the AFCFTA subcommittee on SPS. You go and raise specific trade concern and complain. It is basically about a complaint about particular standard or regulation that is impeding our products from moving to other countries. So if we feel that another country where we're exporting is not playing by the rules under the TBT agreement, and we have raised a specific trade concern on that country in the TBT committee, and the country has not taken any action, then we can proceed and go and present the case to the WTO court, the dispute settlement body, the DSM. I said I was going to be very brief because all of us are working around these issues of TBT and SPS in the room, most of us. So looking at the SPS agreement, again, it also came into force at the beginning of WTO in 1995. Just like the TBT agreement, the SPS agreement gives WTO member the right to restrict trade when necessary to protect human, animal, and plant life or health. But at the same time, the members have an obligation to avoid creating unnecessary obstacle to global trade. On one end, they have the sovereign right to put in place SPS measures, but the measures should not be so stringent that it can create barriers to trade of other members. So sanitary refers to human or animal and animal health and food safety. We all know this. While phytosanitary refers to plant health. I thought Dr. Mwamba was going to be here. Probably maybe he would have talked about some of these things before my presentation. So what are the scope? The TBT agreement we saw that it covers all products, including industrial and agricultural products. But when we are talking about agricultural products in the context of the TBT, I also mentioned that it excludes SPS measures. So the SPS agreement sets out basic rules for food safety, animal health, and plant health measures in trade. It establishes a framework to facilitate trade on the basis of international agreed standards. And we are aware that under the SPS agreement, 3 international standard setting bodies are specifically recognized, including the International Plant Protection Convention, the IPPC, the World Organization for Animal Health, WOA, previously founded as OIE, and the Codex Alimentarius Commission, which is responsible for establishing international food standards. The agreement also guides the development, adoption, and enforcement of SPS measures. And as was mentioned by Doctor, the idea here is that we should try as much as possible to harmonize our SPS measures to international standard that has been developed by IPPC, the Codex, and the OIE, or WOA. And we harmonize these standards through adopting the relevant international standards or through adapting international standard to our context. The agreement also applies to SPS measures which may, and this was already also mentioned by Diana, may directly or indirectly affect global trade. So that is the objective and the scope of the SPS agreement. Coverage, it covers any measure applied to protect the life and health of humans, animals, plants, and also to measures that are put in place to prevent the introduction of animal diseases and pests that are not prevalent in the particular country. So when you adopt such measures, then they meet the definition of being called an SPS measure. I'm being so graphic, but I hope the message comes out. What are the key provisions of the SPS agreement? non-discrimination, scientific justification, and I was talking about harmonization, harmonizing to international standards, risk assessment, Diana talked about it, consistencies, and then, as I mentioned earlier, members are allowed to adopt SPS measures, but they should take the least trade restrictive measures that will not interfere in international trade. It has provisions on equivalence. The SPS measures do not have to be exactly the same, but if they can achieve the same objective, then trade should not be prevented. If the two measures are not exactly the same, but they can achieve the same appropriate level of protection. Regionalizations, if we have maybe a pest that is only affecting a certain part of Uganda, then if we are trading in products with another country, they should not stop us from exporting products coming from the part of Uganda that is not infested by that pest. Transparency. Again, we can put in place, adopt and enforce SPS measures, but we must ensure that we develop those measures in a transparent way. And what does it mean? The first thing is that we need to announce our intention that we are going to put in place an SPS measure. The second thing is that when we have the draft measure in place, then we should notify it to the SPS committee or to WTO. The third requirement is that once another WTO member has submitted written comments on our draft SPS measure, then we are obliged to respond to the written comments and also explain how we are going to take the comments into account when we are finalizing the draft SPS measures. Technical assistance and special treatment. Technical assistance is the same as what Diana was talking about. WTO members, especially the developed countries, are obliged to give technical assistance to LDCs and developing countries. And then the issue of control, inspection, and approval procedures. So those are the 7 key principles, provisions of the SPS agreement. So what are the implications of the WTO, TBT, and SPS agreement on trade? The two agreements contain rules that guide preparation, adoption, and implementation of SPS and TBT measures. As I mentioned earlier, the agreements also do not prevent countries from adopting and enforcing measures to achieve legitimate objectives: protection of human health, protection of the environment, protection of plant life or health. We are not prevented as a country, and other WTO members are also not prevented from adopting such measures. However, we are aware that differences in requirements, in standards, for example, technical regulations, and the effects of enforcement of SPS and TBT measures in general have got implication on international trade. So if the requirements in standards are different, the requirements in SPS measures are different, Diana was talking about harmonization of standards, then this will lead to increased compliance costs. Because if the standard in Uganda is different from the standard in Kenya, for example, although we are doing a lot of harmonization of standards in EAC, that if you are a producer in Uganda, you have to produce your product, adapt your product to comply with the Ugandan standards, and demonstrate compliance to the requirement in the Uganda standard. At the same time, you also have to adapt and demonstrate compliance to the Kenyan standards. And that will add on the cost. But if the standard, the requirements in the standard, or the standard has been harmonized, then you do that once. More so if there is a mutual recognition agreement between the two countries. I've already mentioned that. But just to emphasize that if the standards are different or the measures are different, the micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises actually bear the most cost because they have got limited resources. So the other impact on trade is market entry challenges. If we have divergent SPS and TBT regulations, they will become trade barriers, and they will prevent or make it very difficult for exporters to export their products. The other issue is innovation and technology transfer. If the standards are very stringent, the measures are very stringent, research has shown that they impact on innovation. They will curtail innovation, and they will also prevent the transfer of technology from one country to another country. And then, as I mentioned earlier, SPS and TBT measures at the WTO has been the subject of WTO disputes, quite a number of them, and this arises from differences in SPS and TBT measures. I will be more interested probably to learn from Diana now that we have a subcommittee on SPS at AFCFTA, which is discussing specific trade concerns. Supposing those concerns are not resolved by the subcommittee, then what will follow? Because in the WTO, SPS, and TBT committees, as I mentioned earlier, we can raise specific trade concerns. But probably maybe before even we raise the specific trade concerns, if we are monitoring notification coming from our trading partners, we'll begin by submitting comments on the measures that they have notified. If our comment is not taken into account and the countries decide to adopt the measures the way it has been proposed, then we can raise the issue either again bilaterally, politically, or to take the issue and raise it as specific trade concerns in the SPS and TBT committee. And if the issue is not resolved at multilateral level in those two committees, then we can now proceed and go for dispute. So my question that probably maybe you will maybe share light on is what will happen under the AFCFTA subcommittee on SPS when trade concerns that are raised in the subcommittee are not resolved. So how do we mitigate the impact of SPS and TBT measures on trade? Harmonization of SPS and TBT measures, again, Diana mentioned it, and we harmonize, as I mentioned earlier, by adopting or adapting international standards. And this harmonization can take place at regional level, like we have a very vibrant harmonization framework in the East African community. And also at continental level. Diana, this is already happening in the TBT area in the context of the African Organization for Standardization, ASO. So on the side of the TBT, I think we are making progress. There's a lot of harmonization work. my colleague Pamela here, I think, is one of the technical committee secretary that is actively participating in harmonization of food standards. But probably maybe we need to do more in the SPS area. The other thing that Diana also mentioned is negotiating mutual recognition agreements. So when we negotiate mutual recognition agreements, then it means if we are operating a product certification framework, then the product certification marks can be recognized to facilitate trade. And this is already happening in EAC in the context of the East African Community Standardization, Quality Assurance, Testing, and Metrology Act. And then the issue of capacity development. Provide technical assistance and capacity development to enhance standards and conformity assessment infrastructures. Diana was talking about difference in quality infrastructure in Africa. And probably we can also use special and differential treatment, and under the SPS and TBT agreements of the WTO, there's a provision that covers that. And the beneficiary of these provisions are developing countries and least developed countries. So that's the last slide. I hope the moderator is happy. Thank you very much for your attention.
The moderator is almost happy, but not very happy, because the moderator speaks quietly. And yes, so we'll have a few questions before we move on to the next session. We've sat so long, we need to be listened to whether we... Any questions, comments, no more than 5 minutes. Specifically, the question should be directed to a specific presenter.
I got the microphone, so I want to take advantage of that and just add a quick comment to my presentation. The last slide was showing the journal, and I thought I would use that opportunity actually to share with all of you who are here, those who are still publishing or whose work requires publication, that we have a special issue journal that we are publishing, and Dr. Ananias Bagumile, whom I forgot also to introduce last time, is helping as a co-editor and the moderator in some way as well.
Thank you so much for those wonderful presentations. I would like to raise a few questions or comments to George. George, who has just finished the presentation. Since I got the invitation to this meeting, I started reflecting on where we are since the SPS agreement came up from 1994-1995. And I got more interested in Article 9 on technical assistance, not because I'm Ugandan and the Ugandans, people think we like begging, but I was asking myself, really, how much has been invested by the developed countries to provide this assistance? I know we are member countries, and the member countries agreed that they would support us to build our capacity so that we can be able to function like the other member countries. But I don't know, maybe because these days I'm not at that level, the policy level, but some years back when I was the president of Uganda Veterinary Session, I attended all these meetings, AU, ESC, and all these other meetings. And I have a feeling, and I also got feelers, that developing countries, Uganda and other developing countries, we feel that our developed country partners haven't really taken priority to support us to build our capacity. Because SPS agreement, for a country really to implement it, it is supposed to be science-based, justified by science. We're supposed to test. But in terms of capacity, the laboratory infrastructure, I know UNBS has built some good new laboratories, but I don't know, what about at the airport and elsewhere? How are we doing? Are we able to really test the way people subject our fish and our vegetables in the EU when they arrive the EU, the way they test them rigorously, and you hear all the feedback telling us either to bring back or pay for banning and the rest of that. Do we have that capacity? Because one time we were in a workshop and someone asked one of the European partners who traveled for that workshop, why do some products have only for sale in Africa and not in maybe in the EU and elsewhere? And he told us, you know, those products, they are not good enough for the EU market, but they are very good for the African market. By your standards, they are very good. And a number of us got offended. And he said, it's up to you. If you want, you can test and reject. But now, if big brothers treat us like that, well knowing that we are struggling, we are constrained, we don't have the capacity to test. I feel for this agreement really to be implemented and to benefit all the member countries, all these articles should be looked at. We should be supported and helped. Unless we fail to learn, then they can say, we've given up on you, you can't learn. I feel something needs to be done. Of course, I'm thankful to my big sister Margaret and others for the initiatives, for what they have been doing. But I think we need more than that for Uganda to really operate as expected. And then lastly, these mutual recognition agreements, talking about them is easy, but when it comes to the reality, again, as the president of Uganda Veterinary Association, I represented the veterinary profession in all the international meetings for those 4 years. And what I saw, I got scared whether these mutual recognition agreements were actually genuine. There are meetings even where I would be sitting in Dar es Salaam. I chaired one on behalf of Uganda. I think we were in Dar es Salaam. We discussed for 4 days. On the final day of signing, some people disappeared. A few people remained. When it came to signing, they even put their hands behind and said, for us, we are not authorized. After that, we had another meeting in Kampala. They came the same. And by the time when I left those platforms, I was seeing that drama. So I don't know whether now we have signed all these mutual recognition agreements that we have been negotiating. Otherwise, we just discuss and we don't put in practice. Even when it comes to free movement of labor, okay, this is away from the standards. We say people can work in all the countries.
Sorry, the moderator doesn't want to be forced to cut people short. If you're asking a question, please ask a question. Don't make another speech. And those who are responding, please know we have no more than 5 minutes because we must manage our time. Please, please don't make another speech.
Okay. Am I allowed to speak, moderator? Thank you. The two presenters mentioned issues to deal with trade disputes. And those are some of the issues we are currently facing in African countries, to be specific in Uganda, because we have SPS standards and regulations among African countries. And these end up creating trade barriers. We have cases whereby our products were rejected, that we are taken to Kenya. At the same time, they also bring their products in Uganda and we reject them. We have instances where products are on transit, but we tend to interfere with the products in transit. And it basically creates confusion and inconsistencies due to the limited harmonization among these countries. I will not leave out political interventions, if I may say. The technical person knows what to do, but then an appointment which may be political, a person appointed politically comes in, who may not be maybe in know of a technical a requirement, and this leaves the private sector and our traders meeting extra costs, which eventually comes to the consumers. So the traders get confused, yearning for help, and yet we have these standards and regulations in place. So it's very important that we also get a political will, because we may sit here, we come up with many issues, and the technical person knows what to do, but on the way there are interferences. Thank you.
Any other?
Yes, thank you so much. Just a
Again,
quick one.
I will say strictly ask a question.
You know me.
Please.
So thank you, George.
As a seasoned trade negotiator, everything that is being said here was said 20 years ago about political will, about interference. So it is never going to end as long as we are led by politicians. Let's ask questions based on the presentations.
George,
Thank you.
You talked about the trade dispute resolution mechanisms. I don't know, at our levels, because we are in many of these regs, have we ever taken any of these cases to the WTO court? And we also told that we have pro bono services there. Have we ever utilized that, given your experience at that level? Thank you. Buona moderator, can I take to the next person? It was so fast that you even forgot that I asked a question.
Thank you very much, moderator. I'm going to be extremely brief. My question goes to the lady that talked about the African Continental Free Trade Area. As the private sector, we have keen interest to revolutionize our markets, to go from markets that have huge demands that impact our farmers to markets that are more friendly. But our understanding of the agreement and the actualization of this agreement so that we can put money in our pockets is still wanting. We have very keen questions on aspects like the export logistics when it comes to the African continent. How ready are our governments putting resources in these areas to see that we have abilities to export goods that are wanted by the market? Then the seamlessness of the export procedures and processes within Africa is a critical need for all SMEs in this country. And then the actual role of the private sector. We want to have keen participation into these agreements and how we take this home to eventually do the business. And then the language issues within Africa. Each African country speaks a different language. And when it comes to trade, you know there are formalities and informalities that actually govern international trade. We could do the procedures, but we could fail on the nitty-gritties within these other countries. And finally, the connectivity issues within Africa. It is harder to move goods from Uganda to Congo than to bring goods from France to Congo. And then finally to George. George, the WTO agreements, we use them daily. But we would want to see that they are customized, that they are key enablers that are given to the private sector to see that our companies that are coming on board daily are able to understand in their own languages and eventually do business. Thank you so much.
Okay, that ends the questions and comments. George, can you take on, strictly respond to the questions, not the comments, because we don't have much time, and like I'm saying, these are old-time things. I started trade negotiations when my hair was black, and they are still the same things. So, please. No, now
Thank you. The issue of technical assistance. First of all, I just want to note that technical assistance takes various forms, including training, equipment. So I think since the beginning of the WTO, under the SPS and TBT agreements, we have had a lot of technical assistance. There has been so many projects from the time probably maybe I joined government to up to now that maybe I'm about to leave government, there has been a lot of technical assistance. Various projects has been here, and the issue is to what extent have we taken advantage of the technical assistance. When you look at the UNBS lab, for example, the food lab, if you go to the food lab in UNBS, you might find that more than 70% of the equipment in that lab were donor provided, and they were provided in the context of the technical assistance provisions of the SPS and TBT agreement. So I think the most important thing is to what extent are we taking advantage of the brothers projects that we have had in these two areas. The issue of mutual recognition agreements. When you read the provisions in the two agreements, SPS and TBT agreements, they encourage WTO members to negotiate mutual recognition agreements. The one that I think is very successful is the mutual recognition agreement that has been negotiated in EAC under the East African Community Standardization, Quality Assurance, Metrology and Testing Act. We are mutually recognizing our product certification marks, and this has actually improved the flow of trade or intra-EAC trade. So probably maybe we need to negotiate more. Probably maybe we need to negotiate the MRAs with other countries outside Africa. But most importantly, probably maybe this is what the TBT and SPS subcommittees of the AFCFTA should be doing. If we can negotiate, as Diana was saying, a mutual recognition agreement in the context of the AFCFTA, then probably maybe we should be able to trade another trade arrangement. Because remember, we have the EAC treaty, but the EAC treaty was not enough to facilitate trade, and that's why in the standard area, we went ahead to conclude the SQMTA Act, and within there are provisions for mutually recognizing certification marks, and that's improved the flow of trade. There was this question on trade disputes, and this was in the context of EAC trade. Yes, we have had a lot of frictions among the EAC partner states, but also to note that we have a framework for resolving NTBs. So at the regional level, we have the Regional Monitoring Committee on NTBs, and in partner states, we have the National Monitoring Committee on NTBs. And a number of NTBs that has been reported as affecting EAC trade has been resolved. I think Mr. Okot here may be having statistics on the NTBs, but a number has been resolved. And of course, there are NTBs that can only be resolved politically. And some of them have also been resolved in the context of EAC trade politically. So Dr. Ukuyu was talking about, have we ever taken any dispute to the WTO dispute settlement body? No. But as I have said, how active are we in, first of all, reviewing draft measures that are notified by other WTO members that we are exporting to? For example, we export agricultural product to the EU. When the EU notifies their SPS measures, and the notification are circulated by WTO secretary, do we look at them? Because you can't jump all those stages and go to dispute if you have not exhausted bilateral engagement, multilateral engagement in terms of specific trade concern in the SPS and TBT committee before you proceed. There was a recent case, the new EU not SPS, what food law. It was notified by the EU. I think the SPS stakeholders, both in the public and private sector, did not look at the draft. The EU notified the adoption of the draft, and there was no issue that was raised by the stakeholders until when the EU notified the entry into force, which is entering actually into force this year. That's when we received feedback from the private sector, but when it was way, way, way late for the engagement. Because if we had reverted with comments to the draft measures before it was adopted, probably maybe we would have seen whether they would take our comments on board or not, and maybe go to the SPS committee and raise specific trade concern. The last one, what I would like to say is that we have negotiated so many trade agreements, EAC, AFC, FTA, WTO, but we have got to position ourselves so that we can benefit from those trade arrangements. If we don't position ourselves to benefit from the trade arrangement, then we will not benefit so much. And then I will actually give an example of in the TBT area in EAC. We have a very vibrant standard harmonization program. And we have so many East African standards that has been harmonized. And they're facilitating trade in conjunction with the mutual recognition agreement. The SPS issues has been lagging behind. It has not been so vibrant even within EAC. And I hope that is not going to be the case under the AFCFTA arrangement, because I've already mentioned for the TBT area, we are already doing harmonization at the continental level, harmonizing African standard, and probably it will facilitate the trade within AFCFTA. But SPS normally tend to lag behind, so I think, in my view, we need to do more so that our private sector can benefit from trade within EAC and continental trade also. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the responses. I'll just make one comment. Negotiating trade comes with numbers, and numbers in very specific sectors for simulation. Let me just give you an example. ESC trade from 2021. 2021 was $9.81 billion. It went up to $10.91 billion in 2023, and 2022, and 2023, 12.1 billion. So intra-ESC trade is growing, and that can only be explained by the common market and its undertakings. So usually when we have issues with specific product sectors, we got to identify whether in that sector there is declining trade volumes, and then identify the reasons for that declining trade volume. Without that, you can't get into credible negotiations. ESC trade with the rest of the world, 2022 was 78.7 billion. 2023, it has grown to 80.6 billion. So the numbers say that trade is improving. I just wanted to make us feel good, because the theories around trade negotiations are so complex. Without numbers, I will not use that word, but it's a nice word. It's wishful thinking. So I will request Ananias to come and give us his presentation. We'll try to cut it down to about 20 minutes. I hope that will work. Okay, there was a question. Please do answer.
let me quickly respond since Ananias is already on the floor. But I'll go quickly back to the issue of technical assistance. George handled it very well, but I would also, it gave me an idea that really, I think when we next meet in the subcommittee, you know, we could interest countries to pronounce themselves on how much they are willing to. I think this is now where implementation is very important. How are we going to implement? I think state parties need to say how much they are willing to contribute towards technical assistance, be it financial resources or technical experts. Because we also recognize that a country like Uganda and Kenya maybe is not the same as Burundi when it comes to having expertise in the area of SPS. So I think that was really important as well. Now, to the question from the private sector, first of all, I'm so proud that I'm happy that there's a representative from the private sector. Now, I will start with the role of the private sector in the AFCFTA agreement or implementation. And I will say that when we were beginning to test the trading under the AFCFTA using the Guided Trade Initiative, we listed a couple of criteria that each country had to meet, tick off, in order to be able to qualify to trade under the AFCFTA. And one of those issues was to be able to mobilize the private sector. Because trade will not happen, I mean, the public sector doesn't do trade, it just provides the right policy environment. We recognize the key role the private sector plays in trading. And also that's why, as the Secretariat, we developed what we call the AFCFTA private sector engagement strategy. It identifies 4 key areas, priority areas, and in fact, transport and logistics is one of them. We recognize that it's so difficult to move goods within the continent, even people. My air ticket from Accra, Ghana to Entebbe is about $700. But when I want to go next door to Abuja, and that is even the fairer ones, I've not even talked of Cameroon, it's over $1,300. So you can already see how the issues of transport and logistics is a big issue within the continent. Then you also were concerned about the seamlessness of export procedures. I think in my presentation I referred to the fact that we are now conducting a study to see, to have a look at what export procedures in the different countries look like. Because it's very clear that the procedure in one country is very different sometimes from the procedure next door, and it becomes a problem. Then you talked about language as well. Language is not just in the entire continent. When I did my research and spoke to the people of UNBS, even within Uganda, I think UNBS translated some of the standards in the local languages. And we are also working hard to ensure that whatever policy documents, even the NTB online mechanism that we are talking about, we are trying to really unpack in all the key languages. But yes, those are really real concerns. Exports, logistics, as I said, our Secretary General is very passionate about, you know, ensuring that we continue to make it easy for the private sector. In fact, if your activity doesn't align or doesn't prioritize the engagement of the private sector or capacity building of the private sector, you're in trouble. Then at the national level, you said that you still don't have enough information. The Secretariat cannot do everything. It's also incumbent upon the Ministry of Trade to domesticate this agreement. If you know what is happening in Ghana, for example, and even Nigeria, they are not just talking about the agreement in their Kampala. No. They go to Arua, they go to Fort Porto, they go to Mbale to really take the AFCFTA message. And I think we can challenge our government. You can give them the feedback. It's important to tell them that we, the private sector, are not aware. Because as the Secretariat, when you call on us, we come. Richard knows that. We respond. So let the government know that you are not yet fully updated about the agreement. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Diana. Moderator, I did get some permission from the speaker to just say a quick comment. Thank you, Diana. About awareness, creating awareness. Remember how Uganda did very well when we had HIV and creating awareness on the radio, drumming, whatever worked, and Uganda did very well and was leading in training, in offering support actually to other countries. I was hearing from the fellows from Nigeria that they have this drummed on the radios about the African, the SCFCTA. So they are drumming it on the radio just like we used to drum here about HIV. So I think that's something that some people are not aware that other countries have already started trading and that private sector is already trading. So it looks like in Nigeria they already are doing that and they're aware. So anyway, we can share some of those case studies. And then I have one quick comment to Dr. Kuyo's question about WTO and whether countries have ever taken each other to court there. I had an opportunity to visit there some 10 years ago, and most of the staff who work there are lawyers, they are economists. I think those two professions mainly. However, we had a case in the US when mad cow disease had just come. We were exporting beef to a country, and they said, for us, we want to make sure that all the animals are inspected before we can take your beef. But looking at the epidemiology of the disease, you didn't need, the science said that you don't need to inspect all the animals in the country before you can export. You can target the age group. So there was a dispute, but they didn't go to WTO. So I had an opportunity to ask the chief veterinary officer who represents the country. I said, so what did you do? I was really interested because nobody has ever taken each other to court there. And he said that what the government will tell him is, can you get in touch with your colleague on the other side and talk? So it comes down to human, to public, to relationships actually. These countries are represented by people, so you need to know who is your counterpart on the other country. And then he was telling me, oh, I know Uganda, the chief veterinary officer is so and so, and oh, he just retired. Now I have to make a relationship again with a new one who is incoming. See, it's about relationship building. So you have to negotiate outside. And this was done intentionally because at WTO, all the members, there has to be a consensus, even if you take the case. So you can imagine getting a consensus of all those members. So and it's expensive. Meanwhile, you're breaking relationships also between the trade. So it was done intentionally to make sure that maybe no cases go through, but because of the way it's structured. Thank you. Oh, Bagumbile, thank you so much.
Let's have the next presentation. But I think just by way of comment, I think the hindrance with using the WTO dispute settlement mechanism lies largely on enforcement of the ruling, because you have stages up to the WTO appellate body. Now, once you reach that level, and it has been determined that there was infringement on one member state of the WTO, then usually the enforcement is that it's a retaliatory measure. So small economies do not have the muscle to retaliate. So it makes no sense to go through that whole long process, and then at the end, the only way to enforce is retaliation. That is the main hindrance against following up that process. But that will be a discussion for another day. You can proceed.
Okay, thank you so much, Sam. Good afternoon, all of you. I think it's already afternoon. I see I'm becoming a roadblock between you and the lunch, so I will try to bear that burden, and I will try to reduce the burden. I wasn't around when the introduction was done. I'm called Ananias Pagumire. First of all, I think we need to clap for Margaret. Let's clap for Margaret. Margaret is one of our own, but we have so many of our owns who are out there. But Margaret has found it important that she needs to contribute. For us, we don't look at it that way. So thanks to Mississippi State University for coming up with this program. I have been close to the program since its early conception, and Margaret has been driving it. At some stage, I think during the lockdown, there was some silence, and I was wondering what was happening. But she really, really fought, and then when it came up, and she's been driving it very well. So much as we thank Mississippi University, I think Margaret owes all the credit for this program and its success. Of course, I think you clap for Sam also. He's my colleague. Let's clap for Sam. Sam has been very, very instrumental in driving this program. You know, we thank Margaret because me and Sam, we were brought in as local mentors. No, when you hear local mentors, you think we are local, Uganda. No, we are local for Africa. So we've been the local African mentors for this program. So me and Sam, we have been somehow involved in supporting these fellows. And as Margaret said, I've been working as an editor for that journal, that issue that will be coming. So we thank and we congratulate Mississippi upon that. We shouldn't take for granted the importance of such programs, especially these exchange, and they create exposure. I know what it has done in my life. For instance, these particular programs. I've been working as a consultant for many, many years. Of course, I recognize my professor, Muyanja. I think you stand and we clap for you, Professor. Because if he had not done his job well, I don't think I should be the mentor, the local mentor for, for this Mississippi program. Otherwise, I work for Food Safety Associates. We are a private company. We are one of those private operators that the likes of Diana do not ever think of recognizing. But we also make our contribution, because for them they think to be private and to have a contribution, you have to have a product on the market in terms of food. But for us, we have knowledge, and we always support the private sector. So our company is based here in Uganda. We do a lot of work both in Uganda and across Africa. You should interest yourself in what we do. We are planning this year. We've been in the process to achieve accreditation so that we can be a certifying body. We are midway. We have now taken on board another category of services. We want also to be a champion in digitizing food safety, SPS, measures, quality and trade related issues. So we are already constituted as a digital company. we have computer scientists, and we're developing applications that are going to change the way industries go through these processes to ensure food safety, quality, and also to operationalize all these trade procedures. That's besides the point. I was given a topic by Caroline. By the way, thanks, Caroline, and UNBS for hosting this. It's been done very well. When I looked at this topic, I thought everyone knows everything going on. But we have been involved deeply in matters SPS in Uganda and in the region. The last of the work we did that is connected to this presentation was done in 2021 by Trace. We helped Trace. It's a USDA program also. We helped them. We are part of the team that did the scorecard for SPS and food safety in the region. I was lucky. I led the team that was working on the food safety, but I also worked with the teams that were working on the other aspect, animal health and plant health. So I have some 4-year-old information about the regulatory system in Uganda. So if there is any new development that has come, of course I've been involved in other activities. I've been participating in the meetings in Maif to establish that food and agriculture authority. So a lot of information has been flying around. So I'm basing this presentation on those sources, largely. So when we talk of the food control system, SPS control system, my friend has already laid out the origins of those 2 words, 3 words, animal health, plant health, and food safety. These are the strands that make SPS, and I'm going to be talking about these words, anchoring my argument on MAIF as a responsible agency for animal health, and MAIF, till recently, if you don't know, the mandate for food safety was moved from Ministry of Health and was officially handed over to Ministry of Agriculture in recognition of the efforts that are going on to make agriculture the key coordinator of food safety operations. But of course, MTIC, UNBS, and even the Ministry of Health retain some functions that are related to food safety. Then of course, plant health now is controlled by the crop inspection and certification department, but you should not forget that we also have a department on plant protection. So they share that mandate. It's only that the conformity assessment functions are largely controlled by the crop inspection and certification department. So what is the national regulatory system for SPS? This should be a framework that will help to ensure food safety, animal and plant health, but while also facilitating trade. So if we are talking about the framework, we are looking about, it doesn't matter the form it takes, as long as it's able to help us ensure food safety, animal health and plant health, and facilitate trade, that framework is as good to go. I don't know. I'm not good at IT. Okay, so this framework should be purposed to protect consumers and ensure compliance for our traders with regional and international markets. And therefore, it should help us also to promote fair trade practices. And its scope basically relates to regulations applied to ensure food safety, animal health, and plant health. regulatory system. It can include other things, but they all boil to the actual regulations that will be applied in ensuring that our products or our system is compatible with the regional and international system. Now, we have the context. It has to involve many mandatory agencies. And these mandatory agencies to work, there must be some level of coordination. Otherwise, if they work as silos, then the system will not be able to deliver the intentions of protecting the consumers, ensuring compliance, and also promoting fair trade. That's your national food safety regulatory system. So, the regulations emanate from the policies that we have set as a country to implement. What is the thinking? What is the spirit? What is the DNA of Uganda, of Uganda's people? Because many people want to transfer these things to government. Government is a bureaucracy. But what is the value system of Ugandans relating to safety and relating to trading? So all those are supposed to be embedded within our policies. So those policies, we have quite many. These are some of them that I have managed to identify from the reports I have talked about as being essential to promote food safety, animal health, and plant health. Now, I am not going to go through the list, but I have a question on the last list. We have been developing that policy, the draft sanitary and phytosanitary policy. As a company, we have eaten government money 3 times. 3 times. They bring it to us, please look at it, update it, scrub it. By the way, it was established, I talked about my professor here. It was established before I came on the scene. That draft was there. We have been working on it. The last time we worked on it, I think was 2020. I wonder, what's the problem? So, this is the policy that will help answer everything. It will change our thinking. It will update our DNA as people to harmonize with the things that my friend Opio was talking about here. And it was agreed, I remember, under the Prime Minister Ruhakana Rugunda. He took the entire Ministry of Agriculture, the top manager, to Kalangala to discuss this thing. They discussed, I don't know. Unfortunately, I think when he came back, he was replaced. I don't know what's happening. So, I think government, you are now the government we are talking about. You need to pick this thing. This thing is residing in the Ministry of Agriculture. At least the Ministry of Trade, which started on it first, they handed it over officially to Ministry of Agriculture. Even the mandate that agriculture was complaining not having, I was there during the Food Safety Codex Committee, the Regional Food Safety Committee in Protea Hotel in Tebe. The minister handed it over to Maif. Now, Maif, you have all the authority and mandate, please deliver. So those are our policies. So regarding the institutions responsible, I am not going to go through all of them, but as you know, we have the Directorate of Animal Resources where Dr. Kuyo works. They have a responsibility, their mandate, to provide guidance, formulating and reviewing all laws, rules, regulations related to animal health. And they have gotten several laws so far. I'm also of the view, like some was saying, of not necessarily, these laws are there. We don't lack any documents here in Uganda. Everything is there. Apart from SPS policy and the food safety law, as I will talk about. The rest, we have them. We have Animal Diseases Act, adulteration. And some of these laws, can you imagine? They are as old as 1901. And they are still on our law books. I would imagine they are still relevant. But if they are not relevant, that's not the key. How long should it take us to make these laws if we are really serious about? Then we have, for food safety, we have, of course, MAIF under the Department of, the different departments, let's say. Then we have UN-based, we have Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. We also have other agencies like Uganda Export Promotion. I know HASFA works there. So they also have a mandate on approving some of the exports that go out of the country. We have Ministry of Health. Ministry of Health still has a mandate. You know that in local governments, we have officers called public health officials, and some of them are environmental health inspectors who really visit some of our markets there, and they are responsible to ensure and enforcing hygiene rules. So they have a role. Then we have Ministry of Water and the Environment. As you know, we have a Water Act. That Water Act drives safety and quality in many ways, because if you have unsafe water available for consumption, for use in food preparation and cleaning and all these things, then you have a challenge. Then we have cities and municipalities. As you know, in terms of, let's say, even public health, approval of these restaurants, even the factories, to ensure that they are able to implement public health regulations. The local governments and the cities have roles to play. Then, of course, in terms of plant health, as I said, it is now the mandate of the Department of Crop Inspection and Certification. These guys are the ones who are inspecting and certifying our exports going out. Several laws under those, for food safety, for instance, we have the Food and Drugs Act of 1959. It has been relatively, it has been over time separated. It used to be a Food and Drugs Authority Act. So, but in 1993, we went and we picked the drug aspect. We updated, then we left the other. So it is still as old as that. But for me, even when I look through, it has some aspects. If we were serious in implementing it, that would make our value chain much more secure than it is. Then, of course, we have the UN-based Act. We have, they have come up with good regulations, the UN-based. They have a regulation now on certification of products, which also helps us now to deal with complying with standards within the region. Then also they have the import, the new import regulation is good. It also harmonizes with the international. Then, of course, we have External Trade Act, the Water Act, Coffee, National Coffee Act, which has just been, I don't know whether they have changed anything much, but I think the aspects that dealt with safety and quality still, I think, still remain. Now the contention is the Food and Agriculture Authority Act, which the government has told us is very, very interested in upgrading the manner in which we handle our food. That act has been talked about. The last time they invited us, we were discussing the principles of that law. I don't know whether the law itself has been drafted. Now, I have a comment about that law. Everyone thinks that a food and Agriculture Authority is the best for us. This is an institutional establishment law. It's not a food safety law. As a country, we must come up with a food safety law to spell out the requirements for handling food. We need to define what type of food do we want Ugandans to eat. And that is now missing in our law. So I see the mentality is that when we have a food safety authority, we have answered the problems. No, what is it coming to do? What is it coming to do? It's just an institution. So we need to come up with a food safety law. If we want, you can take it even higher to have a food safety policy if the SPS policy cannot come out. So I am going to talk about the trade constraints as I see in Uganda relating to SPS. I know there are so many things that can be talked about, but for me, much of what I've been talking about is really known knowledge. So let me add the value by giving the constraints. First of all, those extensions were only in development and control. And yet, it's a long story. But this is carried on to other sectors as well. It's not only dairy. So when you go in and look at each and every value chain, like now I can ask you, who is controlling, who is responsible for, let's say, pork in Kampala? Can the vets tell us? No, you say Maif, but are they doing it? They are not doing it. Eh? Pardon? KCCA, are they doing it? They are not doing it, and they don't know they are are supposed to do it. For you, you know. You say you know. But they don't know they are supposed to do it. So this is the disjointment of fragmentation that I'm talking about. Then incomplete mandates. On Christmas, I went to Karerwe. On Christmas, I went to Karerwe. When I reached there, I asked the KCC official, who is responsible for controlling safety? Because everyone, it was like a buzzing business. And you could see very serious food safety challenges. And he was saying, what are you talking about? Those things are supposed to be for the factories, the things we are talking about. Then I questioned myself, what are we doing here if we are catering for food safety for Europeans and we are not catering for us? So we must have a system that comprehensively looks at our food value chain. Then, of course, we have borders. Can you imagine that we have some borders? And I think people from agriculture can agree with me, or UNBS. We have some borders opening every day, allowing food, officially, formal trade. But they are coming, we don't have any inspector there. Am I lying? So, there is a challenge. There is a challenge. We need to talk about these things. Because most people, especially people who are coming on board, young people, joining the sector, when they read these things, good things here, they think we are doing. There are things we need. Then, of course, few mutual recognition agreements with trade partners. Our products, I was working on a project in South Africa. To trade with South Africa, you must have a mutual recognition agreement discussed at high level. So for them, they have signed with everyone. Everyone. This what it means is that the president of South Africa has a meeting with each and every, a president of each and every country that imports there, and they write something with their ministers, with their staff behind, and they are following these documents to the later, day in, day out. Where are we? Because for us, we are just saying, okay, Nigeria has has invited us. Under SCFTA, you'll find that if we don't open up and we discover how other countries are doing, we will still not be able to access this CFTA market. I don't know whether what triggered the Nigerian market, whether we have an agreement with them, but we need, those people who are working with our politicians need to begin these processes, establish what is it required for us to access, for instance, the Tunisian market. That lady in Tunisia contacted me some time back, the one you were working with. I knew her through another person because when I was working at TFTA, she had my contact. So when I mentioned, now they were sending me information, I said, do you people have a trading arrangement with Tunisia? They were asking me. I don't know. Imagine at my level, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't exist. So we need to have as many as those, because those documents we talk about that the Akuro was talking about there, they are general documents. They are like blanket documents. To operationalize them, there is another work that is needed that you as a country must initiate and make sure that you actually access the market, you move from the talking. Then, of course, there is an ineffective lack of knowledge on hotspots. Here in Uganda, we've been talking about, if you go into risk analysis, it's going to be very, very expensive for you to control each and every hazard and in every commodity. We must profile. For instance, in livestock, we have what we call notified diseases. Do we have them? Do we have a list? How often do we update that notified list, notified diseases list? Even in crops, we have notified pests and diseases. Do we have it? Do we have them? Then, even now, I have told you I was working in South Africa. Now, we need also to do a hazard profile for our products. What I mean is that we are supposed to draw a map of Uganda and know which comes from where, and then list the different hazards that affect each and every commodity, where it is coming from. That is going to make it easy to reduce the cost of control. Then, of course, we have ineffective component redress system. Even when there is a problem from outside, I have seen very many notifications that are never taken care of. It comes and it's just another. Then the business operator wants to, they say, no, you can't have, there is now a notification, there is a standing notification. You get it? So we are not following those to have redresses. Then, of course, lack of early warning and rapid response system. We don't even have a document. Yes, I know the livestock people, for certain diseases, they have taken the format of the Ministry of Health. They have some system. But from the pests and from the food safety, I don't see that system, and I doubt that we have. So I've made those recommendations. I'm not going to go through them. This document is going to be given to you. Sorry, how can I expand this? Yeah. Slide show. No, you leave it, you leave it. Just leave it, leave it. Okay, so I am giving you some strategies to improve our regulatory framework. Having said all those problems, I think we need to come up with a clear principles of a food safety law that clearly identifies all the issues that like Opiro was talking about here. And then we come up with a real food safety law that will enable us to control the entire chain, both exports and local. Because this fascination about exports, I think let's also consider Ugandans. Then also we need to fast track that food safety, Food and Agriculture Authority Act. Then of course we need to support MAIF. There are some of the important bills that have been languishing in the system. One of them is the Livestock Identification and Traceability Bill and the Meat Development Bill. Why the Traceability Bill? I was in Eswatini on the highway and the car was hit by, the cow was hit by the car. It fell down. It was on a highway like expressway. For them it is illegal for animals to stray. So, as we were negotiating, we saw police come, they just opened the ear of the cow like this. And there were so many cows grazing in the nearby. So, because we were going to work in the meat, the next day, it was a big deal. It was a big deal. The person had been arrested, the owner of the, of the cow, and now was answering why he's putting people's lives on. Then I asked, how did you arrest this person? He said, this thing which, so every animal has a tag. How much is that tag? Eh? It's maybe 500. I think we need to think about that, and it helps. It has its benefit. I don't want to go through that. Then, of course, we need also to fast track establishing that authority. We need to support MAIF because MAIF has had perennial challenges with funding, especially because right now we are doing some work on fruits and vegetables by TMA. TMA say we have developed the capacity of UNBS over time to implement these things, but not for MAIF. Why? So I think we need also to put our spotlight on MAIF and support them to be able to do that. Then, of course, UNBS should be supported to develop standards for primary food products. basically all products should be controlled, isn't it? So the department in Maif, I don't know whether Othiano heads that, they need resources to develop more standards for food and agriculture commodities. Then we need to, improve collaboration of the CS. Right now, there is quite a lot of duplication. We have a national SPS committee, it's inactive. I think also the effort to harmonize and rationalize their roles, especially in conformity assessment, because there is quite a lot of duplication at the business level, which increases the cost of doing business. So we need really to do something. The conformity assessment bodies in Uganda, we have 4 mainly. As I said, 3 are domiciled in Maif. Of course, 1 is UN-based, but as I said, cities, municipalities, and other local governments also do some conformity assessment. I am not going, some is, is on my neck. I have to rush and we finish this. So I have given you detailed information on SPS conformity assessment system for the different agencies. For fish exports, it is the Department of Fisheries Resources. I have indicated what they do, approval plans of and activities of establishment, registering licensed fish processing facilities, assessing and verifying compliance with food safety. Then they have challenges, a number of them. So you can look at those challenges and see what, for instance, food risk assessment, assessment, management, and communication are not comprehensively implemented. Even when they are exporting to Europe, you find that it is disjointed also. They are focusing only on the food that is destined to Europe. These Congo markets, South Sudan, I think those products, especially in the upstream side of the value chain, they are not taken care of. So there are many, many issues there. Then for imports, they're also responsible for that. I have indicated what they do and the challenges they face. Then, of course, for products of animal origin, it is the Directorate of Animal Resources in Maif. Dr. Rosa Demun was here. He's the, I think, the head of competent authority. And they have those roles, implementing residue monitoring plan for meat and meat products, conducting official controls for export of animal products. But they also have challenges. They have challenges like the residue monitoring plans are not up to date and they are not implemented. That, in other words, we don't know the contamination levels of acaricides. There are various acaricides that we have in Uganda. We don't know the contamination levels, and we want to send our product outside. There is a problem of antimicrobial residues, which is even now sung all over in the international market. We don't know where is the which are the hotspots. Then there is this issue: do we use approved chemicals? Because now internationally, each market has its own list of approved chemicals. Our lists harmonized with those. So I think those are the challenges that we are facing. But I've also indicated those challenges. Then, of course, for plants of animal origin, it is the Department of Crop Inspection and Certification. They inspect and certify imports and exports, and they are also a host of WTO SPS inquiry point. Now, they also have a catalog of challenges. Those challenges must be looked into and dealt with, because for me, I think some people have not been looking at these challenges. When we go into the meetings like this, we talk about SPS in general. No one is looking at this problem. How are we doing, dealing with it? This one, so that we know that we are making progress. We have been just talking what they call good English. So I think somebody needs to pick these things, look at them, and have a clear program on how we deal with them. Then locally produced, exported, and exported products, including imported manufactured food products. That's under the mandate of UN base, I have also listed some of the challenges. I think the UN base will agree with me. Food safety control is not core mandate of UN base. I'm right, isn't it? It is TBT. But we have entrusted with them. Are they trained? I'm not saying we should pick your mandate. We train you to do it better. In 2017, I don't know whether you were there. I went there to train the inspector. I was surprised. People who were about to retire, they were saying, ever since they joined UNBS, they have never been exposed to any training in inspection practice. And yes, because this is what they told me. You are an illegal department. When another regime comes, they will transfer you to testing. Isn't it? Yeah. I know somebody who is it may not be illegal. Of course, that was, I'm using it as an example. But they keep switching you, you get it. And then you find at some stage you are a manager of a team that is more qualified or have more knowledge in undertaking official controls than yourself, isn't it? I'm not saying that you shouldn't be a manager, but there should be programs to retool, because at the end of the day, we must protect consumers and access. So I have given you those challenges. You can look at them. I have a small conclusion that food safety regulations are fundamental for implementing an effective regulatory system. Currently, there is no specific law to coordinate, harmonize, and streamline the food control activities. The conformity assessment activities of MAIF and UNBS do not incorporate risk analysis principles as established by the international. Because of those challenges I have told you. So the mandated bodies lack both technical capacities, human resources, and logistics to undertake effective inspection, sampling, testing, and certification services in according with requirements. Now, I just have 2 minutes. I prepared this because she dictated the nature of materials should provide. But I have some issues personally. As a person who is in this sector, I want to have, thank you, Sam, you gave already a preliminary for my, I finished the university in the 90s. When I finished, I found all these that I have talked about, they were like there. All these. So that's why I would say, ignore what I have said. Because even if we have those laws, who can challenge me that you are sure we'll have a safe value chain? Most likely not, isn't it? So, why then do we spend a lot of time, some almost hinted, why do we spend a lot of time talking about these things that are not going to have an impact? If we realize that every talking does not lead to something in a positive direction, maybe we need to talk about those things that we can do. Leave those which cannot be done. I was in 2021, I went to, I asked for 2 minutes. I went to Tanzania. If you have been to Mwanza, there is a market called Churumba market. It's a very, very busy market for fish. I was surprised. The traders were using HACCP as a marketing tool. HACCP. Imagine in their Swahili. They were taking, for us, we do HACCP. And they were actually telling people, and I challenged them. But let me tell you, when you are in Churumba, you get fish. You cut it and eat it. This smoked fish. And even me, who is very critical, I was at cutting and eating. You get it? It's so clean. What have they done? They are also Africans and the so-called uneducated business operators, isn't it? That's one. For me, I will give you food for thought. 2023, they invited me. I was with, I don't know whether Professor Muyanja was there. No, it was Nasinyama and Hakim, the African Union. They invited us for a food safety conference. When we were there, for me, I learned something. In Kenya, because they've been dealing with the issue of food safety governance, they have now made a decision by the authority of the minister that a food safety committee must be established at every level of governance. Do you know what it means? It means that an NGO must have a food safety committee. Ministry must have food safety committee. For us at FSA, we must have a food safety committee. UNBS must have food safety committee. And the whole idea is to make sure that these committees deliberate and come up with food safety actions. And in that meeting, they tell us the key action is awareness. So, Uganda, we are sleeping. Another scenario, we were here in Golden Tulip. I was with Diana here. We were developing a food safety strategy for Africa. I told them, I said that in this hotel today, the food we are going to eat, 100% prepared by smallholders and farmed by smallholders and prepared by SMEs, MSMEs, isn't it? But in the meeting where we are talking about, there was nothing like for informal. The lady from FAO, regional office, showed up and challenged me, said, we don't know about them. If they are not formal, why don't you formalize, and then we know about them, and then we help them? Then I said, it doesn't matter whether you know where they are. If, as long as they are the ones producing our food, we should look for them, not us to look for them. I am happy when I looked at the strategy for FAO for this period. It is, you look for it, it's characterized with informal. So, my thinking is, and I was also looking at Agura. Agura is now having, and it's popularizing a program to help informal traders, to informal business operators, smallholders, to implement food safety. Why can't we also, as a country, plug in there and make sure that we get out of this meeting to talk about these things that don't help us anyway, and we find for simple solutions that can help those people? I have a feeling that there, either through awareness, we can have some impact, so that we see we are moving from one stage, even if at a smaller pace, to another, rather than continuing to do all these things which are ending up being of academic purpose. I thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you for defying the moderator. And because that has happened, the moderator is going to make a decision which must be accepted. It's time for lunch. We will not have another presentation because the subject matter of later on highlighting institutional roles has largely been covered in the presentation by Ananias. The moderator makes a decision that the next presentation, unless the presenter is leaving, that presentation be shifted to the time that will be shared between highlighting institutional roles, then principles and best practices. And that decision of the moderator is not subject to discussion. So we will have that presentation shared between Caroline and Andrew, ideally because a lot of the institutional mandates has been covered in this presentation. But before then, before we break off, I'll ask one question, which is one of the things the presenter has raised. I talk to so many consumers in this city, and they tell you that I bought these pineapples from a market. And in the market, the pineapples were displayed on the ground. And then I reached home and found there was a problem. Now, you've been to school, hopefully you are educated, and you drive a nice car and park and buy food products which have been displayed on the ground. And after making that decision, we come into a workshop and complain. Consumer behavior in Uganda drives absence of and implementation of some of the very basic even laws that exist. Someone comes and hangs your food products by your window in the car and you just buy. You don't know where they passed. All right? Some people who don't know their tomato, pineapples, which are spread that Nakivubo channel, they put them there to preserve them. They call it firiji, that side. And then you find them being peeled and you buy them. Okay? So, we need to also begin thinking about our own consumer behavior. What motivates us to make decisions that are inconsistent with what we discuss? And then we begin to say, but you know, government. If we all rejected some of those, at least there would be basic improvement within the marketing chain so that people give us what may be basically, it may not be safe, but at least hygienic. Thank you very much. You've earned your lunch. I hope everyone has a coupon. If you don't have a coupon, put up your hand. There are 2 people without